I'd like to talk a little bit about the Administrative Tribunal Act. It, re- it retroactively applies backwards, something that's kind of weird in its own little way. Here's some of the good under this act. I mean, you may as well be living in Nazi Germany. Practice directives. Here's one of them. Practice directives tribunals may make. And number two, it says the tribunal is not bound by its practice directives in the exercise of its powers or the performance of its duties. Isn't that a good one? It doesn't even have to follow its own rules. It just does whatever it wants. Failure of a party to comply with tribunal orders and rules. If you don't comply with their bullshit, they can, under B, Section B of Section 18, I guess it is, continue with the application and make a decision based on the information before it, with or without providing an opportunity for submissions. They can also dismiss the application. That's if you don't comply with what they want. Summary dismissal. They can decide at any time that your application is frivolous, vexatious, or trivial, or gives rise to an abuse of process. Something they know all about, abuse of process. They just suddenly decide they don't want to hear it. They don't have to hear it. It's right there in writing. Okay. Tribunal without jurisdiction over Canadian charters of rights and freedom issues. If the tribunal does not have the jurisdiction over constitutional questions relating to the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. If the constitutional question, other than the one related to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, is raised by a party in the tribunal proceedings, A, on request of a party or on its own initiative at any stage of the application, the tribunal may refer the question to the court in the form of a stated case. There is no stated case, number one. And then it goes down through a list, and then it goes down to A of subsection 4. To the extent that it is practical, in the light of a stated case, proceed to hear and decide all questions except for the questions raised in the stated case. It doesn't matter if they found a case that they could go by. It wouldn't apply in your case. Pretty good, eh? Application of freedom and information. And this is a real insidious one. You cannot get any of the information through PEPA on that tribunal meeting. It's secretive. Like a little Nazi court. Unless it's been over 50 or 100 years, and then, of course, then you can. Isn't that wild? The rights that these people have stole, you don't have any rights in this country, neither do I. Disclosure protection. In all proceedings other than criminal proceedings, unless you get an application of consent from these people, you don't even have the right to disclose. They don't have to let your intervener into the tribunal, in other words, your lawyer. They don't have to let him in when the case is going on. When failure to serve does not invalidate a proceedings. If they don't serve the document to you in time, they can say they can serve it to you by phone, they can serve it to you by mail. In other words, they can serve it to you any way that you want, and if you don't get it, then that's too bad. That's your problem. Uh, it's quite apparent what they've done here. This is an act of protectionism, and they've stolen all the rights of the injured worker and the workers, not just the injured workers, the workers, in period. With this little act, it's I would never have believed that they could have got something like this through. I mean, it just it's such a fascist document. You don't have the same rights a criminal's got. Hell, you got more rights fighting a parking ticket than you do of any of this bullshit. It's totally incredible. I couldn't believe it when I started reading this, and I'm still reading it, and I'm just starting to follow it. I would like to go into the Constitution of our great country here and see what it says, what our rights are in this case. I don't believe we have any. They've all been taken away from us. It's just beyond belief what they've done to this country. You don't even have the right to a fair trial under this. They could. You don't. They don't even have to provide information for this tribunal that would stand up in a court of law. Yet, if they find you in contempt, they can find you into contempt, and you could go to jail. You could actually go to jail. They have this. They have the same rights as a court of law, but you don't. Isn't that incredible? Well, read it. It is a very serious, damaging document that these people have put forward, and it's been put forward by the unions. It's been helped. It has to be. Nobody ever heard about this. I never heard about this kind of shit when I was in the union. That Federation of Labor had to have known about it. It's probably one big payoff to the companies. It had to be. Nobody ever heard of this bullshit. How did they get a document like this that takes all your rights away? You don't have any rights under this thing. They can decide anything they want. They can decide that case is frivolous and say, that's it. And who do you appeal to? You don't appeal to the government. You appeal to them. You're done. You don't have a chance in hell. And this is what these people are all about. It is protectionism to protect the employer and destroy the worker. And this is what they've done. And it's getting worse. And when you see them immigrating, these people in from Guatemala, Mexico, and all over the world to work as cheap labor here, you're seeing the beginning of the end of our labor movement in this country. This is what this Gordon Campbell fascist got going. And with the help of the NDP, because they were complacent in the whole goddamn thing as well. They've set out to wipe out the working class in this country, and they're going to do it. Come hell or high water. Unless people start waking up and they decide, hey, this is our country, you're done. You're out of here. And that's what has to happen. Because there is no way to fight these people legally. The only way to fight these people is with mass rallies, and you shut the country down. Because you're not going to get anywhere legally. You're going to spend. You don't have enough money. I don't have enough money. Nobody's got enough money to fight these bastards. They got an endless supply of money in which to do this. And have they ever done some work? You got to sit down and look at that administrative tribunal act and take a good long look at it and see exactly what kind of rights you got, because you don't got nothing. And it's just, I couldn't believe it. Josh got me going on it. They fought this issue out in the 50s in the States, the civil rights movement. This is our civil rights movement right here, because we don't have any. We're toast in our own country, and they talk about Canada being a democracy. It is a fascist state that operates under the guise of democracy. That's all. The only right you got is to vote. After that, get fucking lost. We don't want to hear from you. So, there it is, in a nutshell. I'll keep posting, though. Keep fighting.